Welcome to Flowgy. In this video, we will see how easy it is to create reports of CFD results. In the Studies page, we find the Report module as the last workflow step established by Flowgy. Here we will organize everything, from segmentation images, virtual surgeries and CFD simulations to all the information derived from the CFD solver results that we consider relevant for the diagnosis. To be able to start working with the Report module, we must have performed at least one CFD simulation, or we must have started and finished a case. Like we can see here, we already prepared a case and the corresponding information, so we can test it. Before taking action, it is important to know that we can start preparing the report from the first phase of our study, but we can only generate it once we have performed a CFD simulation. This means that at any time and at any stage we can save images of the progress we make and show them in the report. Now we see how it works. But first, let's see of what parts a report consists of. To show you the parts, we are going to open the report we have already created. The first thing we see in the PDF report, which can also be opened by any standard PDF program, is the cover page with the name of the study, the name of the patient and the date when it was generated. The following page shows general information about the case, which is basically what refers to the study. Names, comments and images, everything we want to keep. The next point in the report is the information generated in the CT scan or similar module. Here we will be shown the name we have given to the analyzed CT scan, as well as the comments and the geometry and resolution information of the CT. Flowgy does not access the patient's information contained in the DICOM file at any time, so it will not be displayed in the report. We continue with the information generated in the nasal cavity module, and finally we arrive at the CFD solver report, with the information regarding the CFD calculations based on the solver selected in the simulation process. Finally, we also have a back cover with the standard information about Flowgy. Alright, this is the structure of the report. Now let's see how to create it. We click on the plus button we have right here. As always, Flowgy urges us to give a name to the report and a description. So let's give it a name of My First Report and a short description. We will learn how to create a report from start to finish. And then we click on New. To start storing information in the report, we must first open it by pressing the well-known Open button. In this case, after we created it, the report opens automatically. You may be wondering why nothing has happened. Well, nothing has happened because in order to start creating the report, we first need to open the nasal cavity case we want to make a report on. Now we will open the last case we worked on. This can take a few minutes depending on the machine that we are working on. Okay, we have opened the case for which we want to make a report. Let's start with the CT scan. To start storing information, we need to go to the Report tab. From here, we can save images for our report by simply pressing the Generate Image button. Keep in mind that the image we generate is the one in the main view, in this case the actual one. The views, as we already know, can be exchanged with a click. The Report tab is always available, so even if we have not yet solved a CFD case, Flowgy allows us to store images that we consider interesting for a future report of this case. The images we are generating here are saved in the reporting workspace, which we can access by the means of this button. If we go to the CT scan section, we will see the image we just generated. Here we see the images from the other side. We can generate as many images as we want. Now we take some images in different positions and angles. Here we can scroll through the images. And of course, we can delete the images we don't want or need at any time. If we want to generate images of the segmentation, we only have to bring the segmentation to our main window by clicking one of these two buttons. Either the original segmentation or the current segmentation. And start to make images. And of course we change the views according to the image we want to take. If we find it easier, we can also generate these images of the segmentation from the segmentation workspace. And as we can see here, we have the generated images that will appear in the report. In fact, we can provisionally create a report by clicking this button. As we see, the images were generated in the CT scan section. Every good report has also impressive images of virtual 2D or 3D surgery. Let's see how to add this information. We will quickly create a 3D model of the original segmentation of the nasal cavity. And as we have seen in the CT scan workspace, we just have to go to the report and generate the images we want. If we have generated an image that we think we will not need, we can delete it at any time by pressing the delete button. These images can be found, of course, on the report page in the 3D nasal cavity section. Very easy, right? We will now add the information for the CFD solver. The reports we generate are assigned to CFDs we have resolved and these cannot be changed. This way, we can make sure that all the information shown in the report is consistent with the performed study. Once the case has been opened, we just have to come to this drop-down button and select the Report option. The first thing we see is the different sections where we can store images: 3D view, right nostrils, left nostrils, Joanna. For example, we are going to store the first image in the 3D view section. This we do by clicking the button Generate Image. This image, as we can see, has become part of the 3D view section. If during the post-processing phase we have made and saved specific cuts of one of the nostrils, the choana or the current lines, for example, we can also include them in the report from the post-processing workspace. To do this, we just need to send the CFD solution to the post-processing work environment with the To Post button. Once here, we only need to load the cuts made manually during post-processing with the Load Cell, Cuts button and click. The saved cuts will appear in this list, and the check button will show those that we can send to the report. Now we take some more images. And when we go to the column report and click on the tab Plane Cut, we can see the corresponding images we just generated. It is also very interesting to put the convergence graphics generated during the process of the solution of the fluid into the anatomical structure. To add the convergence chart, we just have to click the To Report button and accept. Guess where we can find him? Exactly. And here we have the convergence chart. For this report, we will add one more graph, that of a non-dimensional estimator. This graph shows us in a very visual way if the anatomical structure in which we have solved the CFD solution is within the safe region or not. As we already did it with the convergence chart, to add it to the report we just need to press the To Report button. We can also generate different versions of the non-dimensional estimator charts. For example, with parameters along with other cases with zoom. We can also do this with the convergence chart. We already have the non-dimensional estimators chart in the report. Easy, right? As we can see below, Flowgy provides us with several extra options to complete or modify the report. On one hand, we can update the list of images. We can delete an image and even import images that we have saved in the computer. And we think that this may be interesting for our report. We also have the possibility of setting up cover images. Specifically two. For this report, we will put the convergence chart and the 3D view we have generated as a cover. As we can see, the selected images now appear here, and this new position indicates that it is a cover image. In the middle section of the workspace, we find different settings we can make to the report. For example, in case the report is very confidential, we can encrypt it and define a password so that only the person with the right password can open the report. We can also define more specific sections that we want to have visible in the report and which we don't, by clicking these checkboxes. An important detail to keep in mind is that the information we give about the patient will be shown in a CT text section. This must be taken into account when including or not including this section. Talking about the patient's information, we can write it down in the last important section of our workspace report. Here we can define the name, sex, age and nationality of the patient, as well as leave a brief description of the aspects to be considered about the patient. What we insert here can of course be edited at any time by clicking the Info button. Now, let's create the report and see if everything is as it should be. It looks like we have everything we need, so let's save it in a folder so we can print, email, or put it onto a USB stick, whatever we want. And in this way, we and ENT specialists are able to create all the reports we want in a personalized way for each case.